Okay, go.
All right, public comment.
Oh.
Greg, could you give us your name and address, please, sir?
Greg Boyarsky for Van Karzen Road. I will be very short. Recently I complained about my recycle bin and trash bin placed incorrectly, and there was some discussion about it. It is resolved now. The problem is I found they are taking pictures of what was inside my trash can and inside my recycle bin. There are some documents with personal details which I don't want to be photographed. I would like you to address this issue with them, not to take pictures of what is there. Because technically when I put it into the bin, it is not mine anymore.
That's right.
So, but
Once you put it in the public right
Yes.
away, not to interrupt you, I'm sorry.
But this is a privacy issue. And they're not supposed to take pictures of my papers. There are my papers in recycling.
Are you okay if I address this?
Absolutely.
Yes.
So you're not the only person they do this to. The reason they do that is to prove if it's contaminated. So if there are materials in the recycling bin that contaminate the whole batch that they can't take it, they will take a photo of that at the curb to prove when we get the phone call, why wasn't my recycling taken? Here's the photo, it was contaminated. So the only thing I can tell you is if you don't want photos of anything taken that you were putting out for collection, you need to either put that thing in the trash or dispose of it in another manner. Because once it is out in the public right of way, it is no longer
Yes,
confidential.
they took pictures of my trash also, and it is prohibited to put something in the trash which is supposed to be in the recycling. It is in the contract.
Well, it's not illegal.
Yeah, and we're not gonna cite you for it. It's no different than you shouldn't be contaminating your recycling, but that's happening too.
Again, they will take pictures of my garbage, and they say there are bottles or there is like paper, cardboard, which is not supposed to be there. Then it's
Did they
again
complain?
against the it's action against the border. So when there is a privacy issue, it's privacy issue.
But not when you're putting it in a collection bin in the public right of way. You lose your right to privacy at that
So
point.
I'm not putting any papers anymore. It's okay. Good, thank you.
Or I would say shred them first. If you have a shredder, shred them first.
I cannot shred everything. Probably I had shredder, I don't know, but so no. I don't want to take them to take pictures of my personal papers.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks for your comments.
Adrian Judy. So I have a few things that I wanted to, and this is not really well filtered, it's kind of rough. So first of all, is this thing with reviewing the tonnage. And I don't know, for years I've said that repeated review of tonnage and holder data without meaningful follow-up. The discussion seemed to end with acknowledgement of the numbers, but no action plans or initiatives to improve processes, or I don't know, there's no purpose in this. There seems to be no purpose, I'm sorry. This lack of action not only wastes valuable time, staff time, but also misses opportunities for us to innovate and improve on waste management. And I know, it's not easy, it's not an easy job, but I don't know, somehow it seems that the purpose is pointless. Second, and this is an issue that I want to address. This is actually even more important. The recycling can quality and procurement. I have a photo. I'll attach it to the minute, to the minute, of a broken recycling can that was initially procured by the Borough, given for free, like we know. Unlike the previous, more durable cans, these are of a rigid plastic and prone, and quite thin, I would say, prone to breaking within 1 or 2 years of use. And my question is, was there a competitive bidding process for these cans? Were there any options considered? Who analyzed this? I've been in these meetings. I haven't seen anybody say, hey, we have can A, B, C, D, what do you think? I think the committee should prioritize conducting proper analysis, because if we spend money, the Borough spends money on a thin, breakable plastic can that lasts 2 years. What's the purpose? I mean, I know the old ones were so ugly and were still in one piece. the ones previous to. So that's the other one. Recycling guidelines. We still lack clear and comprehensive guidelines on what materials are recycled. This submission is confusing, and I think this should be one of the primary purposes of this borough, of this committee, to say, hey, here's how you do it. You crush the thing, you don't crush the thing. You do this, you do that. I mean, after we went to Mascara, it looks like it doesn't matter. It's trashy anyway. And the transparency of the recycling practices. During that visit to Mascara that I'm saying, there were conflicting statements about the use of glass. Either as a landfill they cover or in asphalt. They keep saying, oh, we do this, we do that. So neither of these methods qualifies as recycling. Glass is the most recyclable item. And I know there's a long story there, but if this is true, these practices may constitute a breach in the hauler's contract. They cannot say we recycle, we're gonna charge you for glass to recycle it, but then we put it as a day cover. That's not recycling. That's, if anything, a reuse. But then we can call it recycling. Same thing with asphalt. Yeah, can they use it? I don't know. I'm not a specialist in asphalt. Yeah, maybe they can use it as, instead of rocks. Have I seen asphalt with glass in it? No. So, do we have any data from them saying, hey, we sold it for, $500,000 and they made asphalt from it? Okay. So it's very vague. And when we went there, we didn't see anything. Where does the glass go? So, and I'm insisting about this glass because this is the heaviest material in our recycling. And we're charged by the ton. So we're putting glass there that's heavier than anything in that container. So we don't have any proof how these recyclables are processed, how much money we get on them. Is this the best way to do it? We were back at the discussion with Jane Meeks. She said, if you actually do some pre-sorting, you get more money for it, which makes sense. What we've seen at Mascaro, I'm sorry, I'm pretty done. It's trashy and it doesn't look like has value. Anyway, so, but that needs some more analysis. Anyway, that's it. I think I'm running over time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You weren't, but you were getting close.
You weren't? I was
You
supposed to?
weren't, but you were getting close.
Okay.
That's right. I don't give 2-minute warnings. Michelle, did you want to respond to any of the points made? I believe that our solicitor did look into the question about whether using glass to tamp down.
He has actually
He-
already, and
and
the way
he
it is worded
decided
in the
it's-
current contract, it complies with.
I
the
know
language
that
of
the
the
state
contract.
has, I know the state has done, but now last time we went there, they said it goes in asphalt. Well, again,
I would say for the purpose of trying to reinvent the wheel for the remaining 11 months in the current contract, by the time we had
Yeah,
the
no,
conversation
that's-
and instituted change, not worth the effort, but things to keep in mind for agenda topic. Is it on here? No, never mind. If we're talking about potentially creating a subcommittee
We are.
to deal with the RFP and the bid spec specific, that is something to keep in mind that we could write language in. And I would also encourage Jamie to be a part of that conversation.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. Agreed. Okay.
Wrong one.
Review the reports and you can see, at least I presume that the yard waste went down because of the weather.
I've heard from a lot of people, and we got a bunch of phone calls the last 3 weeks in December from people not realizing that yard waste ended when it did and that they were holding stuff to put out. I'm not sure why. So I think, I just flipped to that. that may have impacted those numbers. I think a lot of people were confused too about the end dates for the borough leaf collection versus yard waste collection.
Yes.
As someone who had a lot of those phone calls escalated to me. So, you know, maybe that's something for future publications or website language. We, on a staff level, with input from the committee, talk about maybe revamping some of that.
Yeah, yard waste was ended prior to
leaf
collection.
waste.
Yeah.
Right, but if you're still looking at the stats, I mean, 19
Yeah.
average versus 47, that's 1 or 2 months is not.
Well,
doesn't
that's
account for
19
such a big
average, I
difference.
think, because they're counting all 12 months. Is that number being divided by 12 even though there's 3 months without information? There's no way it can be.
That's true.
That would make sense.
Unless, yeah, I think it might be being divided by 12, which is what's dropping it significantly.
Okay, so if we
Because the
divide
only
by-
number under 19 is the March, which is 6.6. So it can't be.
Well, divided by 7, then we're up to, I mean, not quite 30 as an average.
You would actually, you would want to divide by 9 because the only months it doesn't take place, it's all of January, all of February, a week of March, and 3 weeks of December.
But I'm just counting the months that are filled in on his chart.
Oh, okay, sorry.
That's
Yeah.
okay. So it's 27.11. So that's accounts for some of it, but not all of it. Yeah. So we get updated figures for that report.
Well, and your
but-
bigger numbers are also going to be, well, no, that's New Orleans. I don't know.
Summer.
I mean,
were you thinking
November
summer?
is pretty
No, I was
big.
thinking
but
October would be kind of big.
historically, October and November are big. December is.
Right.
The only other thing I can think of with the numbers being somewhat off this year too is it was a significant
So
drought
dry.
It
year.
was very dry.
I
So
mean,
not- things
so there
weren't
wasn't
growing.
a lot.
Yeah.
I can remember going 5-6 weeks without cutting my grass, which I'm not complaining about, minus the environmental impact.
Yeah.
There's your
Yeah, that seemed to be a
grass
big.
if you look at that and that. And that's a lot of.
I mean, if you look at August, 30 this year versus 70 last year. July, 42 versus 79. 23 versus 30. Yeah, that's throughout the year. May, I mean, 34 versus 63.
And it rained all last summer, didn't it?
No, it was dry in August because I remember having a couple week break from cutting the grass then too, but I almost killed the tree by accident.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's a big part of it, but we do have incomplete data.
For the performance grant for recycling, I just wanted to give an update that I submitted that mid-December. So we should find out somewhere between March and May what our award is. Allison is in the process of sending out the final, this year's round of, here commercial business owners, here's your form for your commercial recycling program, send it back to us with your tonnage totals. And because we got an updated list from Burke CIT, instead of the letter going to say 300 people like it did last year, it's going out to over 1,100 this year. So hopefully that increases our numbers.
I told you some of the numbers in this report.
Yeah, so I took a screenshot of what Melissa sent you just for accuracy purposes.
So, okay. Jen, is there anything else you wanted to?
Nope.
Performance seems generally good.
Yeah, I mean, like Mr. Kudoyarski touched on, we've had some issues. I think the biggest issue is returning the cans to where they were picked up at, and every time I've had to contact Jose, our route manager, about that, it's what I would call a valid explanation of it's either a new driver or a new crew member, or he told them and for whatever reason, and he has been very clear that they have taken disciplinary action when needed. So
And
I
part
don't.
of it is putting them back where they found them. I mean,
Yes.
that, which is, I think, a normal thing, normal instinct. So
Excuse me, may I say something?
let's do it at the end, Greg. Thanks. But it is good that, you know, the residents let you know what their concerns are, and so you can follow up and get back to them.
Yes.
bulk item, other than making sure everybody knows when the bulk trash day is.
Which that's not till May, and I
Right,
mean,
but-
yeah.
Anything else on 5? Okay, 6, we had 4 letters of interest. 2 of whom are people who have done work on subcommittees before, on the EAC, Adrian and Dr. George. And 2 are people I'm not familiar with, but who seem to have qualifications which are different, certainly, than that. Ms. Fisher seems to have a lot of experience with refuse and recycling on a
Yes.
municipal level.
Yes.
And,
I was quite impressed.
yes. And Colonel Glasser has a lot of experience with contracts, and nothing apparent with refuse recycling.
Correct.
But this coming year, the big project is going to be the contract.
Right.
So although he has no experience with refuse and recycling that I could see, his extensive experience with contracts. Well, Ron, we're up to number 6. Why don't you have a seat?
6,
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
No.
Agenda.
Agenda item
Agenda
6.
item.
We start
Did
at
it
3.
start already?
I started at 3.
I did.
3:20 almost?
I watch it slow.
Ultimately, the vacancies will be filled by Borough Council President.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that, I've not discussed it with him, but I don't think there's any way that Mr. Jadick is likely to be appointed, considering the antagonistic relationship between them. So I think that's a reality. And Dr. George, I think he's very helpful in the EAC, but he seems more skewed toward environmental than
Yes.
recycling.
Which is
So-
in EAC, we'll have more members.
Yeah. But, yeah. If we can get one of those Republicans to change the vote
What's that?
and support EAC.
Yeah, we need one more vote for that EAC.
Yeah, and it has to be nominated by somebody under Robert's rules. Only somebody who voted no can put it on the agenda, so. I'm
So
hoping
if you
we
have
can,
any questions?
we're hoping we can convert you. So those are my thoughts on the candidates. Jen, what are yours?
I agree that Twyla would be fantastic, Ms. Fisher. And I think your comments on Glasser make solid sense considering we're voting to
And it's a
contractual
one-year
year,
appointment,
yeah.
so.
So to get him on board could be quite beneficial.
Ron, what are your thoughts on the 4 candidates?
Well, I always have a way out opinion, but I think,
We cannot.
I think if I was Trump, I would have somebody from the Biden administration working with me, because it doesn't matter if you know what they're talking about, it's what they consider. And I think Jadick has a lot of stuff up here that most of us don't. You being one, I'm not sure where you fit in, but probably right below her. And I think his insight, who cares what the recreation department thinks about it or anybody else? If he has insight that's valuable, he should take it and do something with it, not just say, you belong to the Hamas party and you can't be in it.
Right, and my thought process is the Borough Council President will appoint members of the committee. but doesn't screw around with subcommittees. I think I have more leeway in appointing subcommittees. So there are other ways to take advantage.
Oh, so there's a
Without-
subcommittee to this committee?
There will be
Will
for the
be.
contract.
For the contract.
Oh, all right, well, that's
Okay.
okay, because that's fine, as long as there's something that's,
I don't think we have enough political capital to get Mr. Jadack on the committee.
yes.
Makes sense.
I would do
I mean, I just don't, so.
I would say that would be my first choice, and when she says no quickly, then go number two.
Well, but we need to.
Oh, two, well, then use two choices, two times to say no, maybe that's the second time.
All right, so for reasons I expressed, I think the two we ought to recommend to Borough Council President are Ms. Fisher and Colonel Glasser.
I'm fine with that.
So I would
We-
make a motion that we ask Borough Council President to appoint both of those to refuse and recycle.
Okay, we have I lost my agenda.
Motion and, wait, a motion, and was there a second?
Alright, yeah, I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Can I, not to interrupt you, but for number 7 and 8, knowing that these two new people are potentially going to be appointed, would it make sense to wait for them to be appointed to discuss 7 and 8 until they're appointed at the February council meeting, and then perhaps schedule a special interim refuse and recycling committee meeting to get those two subcommittees up and running sooner than later?
Sure, I'd be happy to have another one next month, absolutely.
Like later in February?
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
just my
fine.
thought is you have two potentially new members who probably wanna be a part of those maybe.
Right, and at that point, I would like to appoint subcommittee, those two subcommittees, and,
Is there an alternate for this committee?
no, I don't think so.
Okay.
And you have a meeting in February, maybe we could do ours like an hour before.
No, my meeting's January, my meeting's next
Oh,
week.
that's right,
Or
January
first week.
22nd, that's
So
right.
next week tell you
Okay,
February meeting schedule. I'm gonna have to move up the Economic Development Committee meeting because I will be at the Colorado Conference the last week of February. So you could potentially do it after Economic Development, which instead of the,
Well, we have to, we'd have to go to the candidates first, to see if they are accepting the positions. Second, see if a different time frame
yeah,
works in the, like at 9 a.m. versus a 3 p.m. works in their schedule, that's all.
I'm just trying to see
and
what.
maybe we just have a standalone meeting, and that's.
Right, just for,
I would normally suggest the 18th after infrastructure, but that's already gonna be a hell day for Melissa, cause we're gonna have personnel backed by infrastructure plus rec board that evening, just because of the holiday the day before.
We could just do it this morning.
Okay. Are you gonna reach out to those two individuals
Yeah.
to let them know they're being recommended? If you could ask them for maybe a February date, I would.
Well, I'd rather give them choices instead of
Okay.
giving them an open.
So that economic development committee meeting would be moved to the 20th at 8 a.m. I apparently have a court hearing that morning at 10:30, but economic development shouldn't take longer than an hour, so, I mean, if we started at 9, as long as we were done by 10.
Okay, so it's float 20th at 9.
Yeah, the 19th in the afternoon, we have nothing.
do you wanna float an afternoon date and a morning date? Or
Ron,
time?
how is your calendar for those dates?
The 19th and 20th of February.
We could also do the 24th after F&P.
So that'd be about 1:30?
Yeah, that would be like 1:30.
They're talking Thursday, the 20th, February 20th at 9, or Wednesday, February 19th at
It's up to you all.
3.
Well, 19th is open, 20th at 9, 24th at 1:30.
Yeah.
Those seem to be the best options.
I like morning.
Okay.
Morning?
20th at 9 is a possibility.
Well, if we can get everybody to attend
Okay.
that one, then we'll choose that one. How's that?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm fine
Okay.
right now.
All right, let's see what we can do about that. So we will table 7. motion to table 7?
I'll make the motion
Second?
to,
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye, okay.
oh, we don't get, there's not even an eight, well,
Motion to table. We'll just get it on the record.
yeah, I just,
Okay, second. Okay, second, all in favor? Aye, okay, 9. Public comment, Mr. Kudrowski.
Yeah, I just want to test, I'm not asking the trash can to be returned where it was, just not to put it into the driveway area, that's it.
But they should be returning it for the contract where you put
It's
it.
okay, my complaint was I cannot back up from my garage without smashing it.
Fair.
And sometimes in a hurry, it happens. It happens, really,
Your poor can.
yes. And the
So we need some of the old cans that Adrian was
second thing, it's
complimenting.
about the candidates for the committee. Maybe we can expand the committee and have more people, but not 1, but 2, 3, adding them. They can do more work for the committee.
I can look into I'd have to go back to chapter 1 in the Borough Code to see how many members can be on the committee.
Yeah, I don't know whether we're 5 to 7 or 5.
Yeah, I'd have to look at that.
And the last
It'd be
thing,
nice to have 5.
last thing about the glass, it is specifically said that something that is supposed to be reused or recycled is not supposed to end up in the landfill, but we end up in the landfill.
Well, our
That's-
solicitor said that
it's
what
in
they're
the
doing
contract.
is
Yeah,
consistent
thank
with the contract, so
Thank you.
that's the opinion
I
we
have
stuck with.
a couple of things to say.
Sure.
I checked on Miss Fisher, and because she claimed she would not work, but she was on committees in Reading, and I received very positive feedback. Someone that I trust a lot said that she's a doer. So I would highly, although I don't know her personally, I don't at all, but from what I've heard, go for it. The second, I disagree, Jana, that, Bill Glazer, to me, yeah, he might have, I have extensive contract. I've been plant engineer, $1 million contracts. I mean, who hasn't, honest to God, right? Very few people have that have been in managerial positions. So that's not necessarily a thing. I think he would probably be more suitable for fire and police or something, or some other, or civil service. That would be even better. But my biggest question is this. Where were these 2 individuals 2 years ago? Where are they now? I'm coming, Greg is coming, to these meetings consistently. And been involved, trying our best, done work. What work have they done? They live in the community. Did they care that this fee went to $575? No. So how can they say, to all respect for Ms. Fisher, because I've heard good things about her. But my question is, will they be here? Do they give a damn, pardon my French? They're not here, they haven't been here. Dr. George has been here, Paula has been here, Dr. Shapiro has been here. Haven't seen these individuals. So I think that we gotta think about it. And I know Bill doesn't like my face. But is he a politician or is he just a baby? Thank you.
Meeting's adjourned.